At around 8 p.m. on August 19, 1962, a 12-year-old boy named Raimundo Marfa da Silva sat near the fireplace in the main room of a shack in rural Brazil. Raimundo lived in this shack with his father Rivelino, as well as his 2 younger brothers. And so that night, as Raimundo sat by the fire, his father, Rivelino, came into the room and he sat down next to him. And the two just sat there quietly, periodically poking at the fire with a stick and just sitting there enjoying the silence. And as these two were sitting there, suddenly Raimundo heard a strange sound coming from the kitchen. And he saw this dark figure on all fours quickly kind of maneuvering across the ground out of sight. And immediately Raimundo's terrified. He has no idea what this is. And so instinctively he turns to his dad, and his dad is also staring at the kitchen, wide-eyed, clearly having seen the same thing. And then before Raimundo could do anything, his dad jumped up and slammed the door shut, separating them from the kitchen, and locked it. But eventually, Rivelino and his sons began to hear voices, and they were coming from outside the shack. Whoever was out there, or whatever was out there, was talking about Rivelino. They could hear that name, and what they were kind of saying is, if Rivelino comes out here, we're going to kill him. And at that point, Rivelino told his sons to stay put, and he was gonna go out there and investigate. He's got a knife in hand, just in case Rivelino went outside. And that was the last time the boys ever spoke to their father. 6 months later, on March 10th, 1963, 5 men were out hunting in the wilderness not far from Raimundo's family's shack. And at some point, they came across this huge boulder, and this boulder had a big crevice in it, like a big gap in this rock. And one of the hunters happened to walk past it and looked into this crevice, and they found a skeleton. And that skeleton belonged to Rivelino, Raimundo's father. But that was not the end of the story. Far from it. So on the day that Rivelino stepped out the front door and then was never heard from again, Raimundo and his brothers had been instructed by their dad to stay put while Rivelino went out looking around. But Raimundo just felt really nervous after his dad had stepped out the front door and had presumably stepped outside. So he defied his father. He opened up the door that led outside. He saw his dad stepping into this huge cloud of yellow smoke. And amidst this smoke were these like cylindrical objects that were floating in the air, spinning around in a circle, seemingly spitting out this smoke. And Raimundo, he had no idea what he was looking at. And so Raimundo yelled out for his dad, like, "Dad, where are you going?" And he charged towards his father to try to stop him. But as soon as Raimundo went out into the yellow smoke, the smoke just dissipated, the cylinders disappeared, and as soon as it was all gone, his dad was gone too. And so quickly, Raimundo and his brothers alerted authorities, and they launched the search for him, and for days they combed the area near that boulder as well, and they couldn't find Rivelino. And so eventually, they abandoned the search. And then 6 months later, his body was magically found in that crevice. To this day, nobody knows what actually happened to Rivelino and how he wound up inside of that rock crevice.